Hey, what's up, guys? This is Fatal Cubes, and yeah, I forgot to add this into the video. So this is gonna be a re-upload with the challenge included. So this is the program for the while loops. This is the challenge for the while loops. So there's the number, and then you gotta just create one for loop. So for int I equals 1, because we're starting at 1. I believe that was one of the criteria in the challenge. Starts at 1, and to that number inclusive. So it's gonna be less than or equal to that number, and then add 1 each time. If the modulus 2 equals 1, so if when you divide by 2 there's 1 remainder, which is, this will find out if it's odd. Then if it's the first number, just print out the number, else print out a space plus that number. Because there's no print ln, it's not going to create a new line each time, it's going to print it sequentially on one line. So if we were to run this, it prints out all the odd numbers to 1843. So let's get now I'm gonna go and to the real video. See you guys.
Hey guys, what's up? Fatal Cubes here, and this is another tutorial in Java, and this one's gonna be about arrays. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is create a new class called arrays, or whatever you want to call it. If you guys may notice, I'm using a new font. To change the font, I'll show you guys this. Change the font. You go to Window, Preferences, General, Appearance, Colors and Fonts. It's this one right here, Java Editor Text Font. Go to Edit, and these are all the choices here. You can go through. Most fonts are in here. I'm using Trey Butchett MS. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Anyways, on with the tutorial. What's an array? An array is a way to group a bunch of objects that are similar to each other. And when you use arrays, it's really nice. When you use arrays, it's easy to use them in for loops to loop through all the elements in an array. You'll see what it is in a moment. So first thing you want to do is create your main method. Now you will notice that the main method actually uses an array. It's a string array called args. But we're not going to go over that in this tutorial. So this is one way to use arrays. Now what you want to do first is say what type of array you want to use. So I'm going to use string because this is going to be a bunch of names. And then you have to use open and closing square brackets like this. Nothing goes inside the square brackets, you just do that, and it's right against the string, okay? No spaces. I'm not sure if a space would work, but that's how I would do it. Call it whatever you want. So I'm going to call my array called names. I'm going to call it names. And set it equal to, and this is different. You're not going to declare it like most other variables. You're going to use an open curly brace and hit enter, okay? And at the very end, put a semicolon. Now, inside of here, you can add as many names as you want. So go ahead, and I'm going to add a few names. I'm going to add Jeff, Bobby, and why not Joey? Alright, so this is my array called names. Now you may be like, well, why am I storing these in names? Why don't I create 3 different variables? Well, already if you were to, let's say you had 100 names you wanted to store, making 100 different string variables to store each single name is completely useless. It would take a lot of time, and it looks bad, and it doesn't work very well. By having an array to store everything, you can access it all at once and loop through it very easily. So I'm going to show you another way to declare arrays. And this way, you're going to do the same thing. String, brackets, more names, equals, but instead of doing the curly braces, you're going to say new string, curly square brackets, and then 3. This says that I want to create a new array of strings called more names that can contain 3 elements. In this array here, I can add as many as I want. I can just keep hitting comma and then adding new things. I can just keep them blank, whatever, and I can keep going on for hundreds, thousands, whatever I need. Here I'm saying this has a specific size of 3 and it's empty now. So to add things to this array, you can do something like this. More names 0 equals Vladimir. What this will basically do is it will say this array at spot 0 And arrays start at 0 because that's the first spot. So if there's 3 things in the array, it's going to be 0, 1, and 2. And it's going to say set that to Vladimir. Set another one, 1 equal to Queb. And more names, 2, set it equal to Kyle. Why not? Now, these arrays do not need to be strings. If you wanted to, you could make an integer array. Maybe called prime numbers. I'm not going to do it in this tutorial, but you can do something like this. Add as many to you as you want. Anyway, arrays, there's a lot you can do with them, but we're just going to be going over the basics in this tutorial. You'll see more examples in the future. So now, the great part about arrays is you can loop through them. So, create your for loop that you know how to do because you've been watching my tutorials. And I's lesson, you may be like, well, how do I know how big this array is? We're going to be doing both at once, and because they both have 3 items in it, we could do less than 3. But instead, we're going to do names.length. Semicolon I++. So you may be like, what is this names.length? Length is a way that Java tells you how many items are in this array. So if I were to add 5 more items, length would return 8. So names.length right now is returning 3. And there's also 3 in here. And we're just going to print out some things. We're going to print out names I plus space plus more names I. So names I says that whatever this variable is, if it's 0, it's going to be Jeff. If it's 1, it's going to be Bobby. 2 is Joey. Same thing with more names. This is how you access things from the array. You have to use square brackets and then the index it is. So if I were to run this and drag the console up for you guys, you'd see that it prints out Jeff, Vladimir, Bobby, Queb, and Joey and Kyle. That's it for this basic arrays tutorial. You may see more complicated more complicated examples in the future, but this is the most simple way to use them, and other ways you can just pick them up, learn it real fast. This is the basic syntax you need to know, and I'm going to cut away to the challenge. See you guys there. Hey guys, I'm back, and this is the challenge. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to take a string variable, so you're going to name it whatever you want. This is not an array, and put in whatever you want. I'm just going to use hello for this example, and I want you to print out each letter of that string on its own line. So you might be like, well, how do I get the letters out of the string? And this is where arrays come into play. So I made this test thing called string example equals test. What example has a method in it called string example equals text. Example. Oh, sorry, you're going to have to make a method here. And I'll just show you this real fast. Public static void main. So if you have this string variable, what you can do is you can do example.toChar_array. Now, if you notice, after the semicolon, it says char, and then it has opening and closing brackets. What that means is that it returns a character array, or an array of single characters. So hello will be broken up into H-E-L-L-O, and then you're going to have to find a way to do that, and then loop through each letter and print them out on their own line. So this is introducing a new concept of this toChar array thing. But if you guys can figure it out, that'd be cool. And if you can't, you'll see the solution in the next video anyways. You could look this up too. That'd be great. Looking up using your resources is always a good idea. And that's it for this tutorial. See you guys next time.